You do exactly what makes logical sense. Your friend has a problem and you care about her. So without a second thought, you analyze the variables of her problem and hand her a precise step-by-step blueprint to permanently stop her pain. And unexpectedly, the situation instantly explodes in your face. You're left wondering why she's rejected the very help she clearly needed. I'm Tomasz, and this is Clinical Breakdown. Clinical data demonstrates that analytical problem solving can trigger resistance instead of relief when used on someone in emotional distress. To understand why your perfect logic is causing so much damage, we have to examine the operating system of a highly analytical brain. Let's look closely at how you process incoming data. You want structure. You want things to line up. Input, pattern, output. When something stays unresolved, it's bothering you, just annoying. Psychologists call this need for cognitive closure. In simple terms, your brain hates uncertainty because it keeps demanding attention. It keeps loop open in the background. Leaving things unresolved acts like a parasite, draining your mental battery. Your brain only has so much bandwidth each day, and this chaos eats it alive. Watch what happens to your body the moment the chaos starts. Imagine someone sits across from you and they start venting about the exact same drama at work for the 100th time. They repeat the same emotional loops over and over again. You can clearly see that there is no structure to their story, and most importantly, they have no actionable goal. To a highly analytical brain, raw human emotion operates like a corrupted file on a computer. It represents pure unfiltered chaos. Just sitting there and listening to unstructured pain actually physically stresses your brain out. The longer this person speaks without moving toward a logical resolution, the higher your physiological stress climbs. Your heart rate starts to accelerate. Cortisol, the stress hormone, actively floods your bloodstream, and the tension doesn't just stay in your head, it becomes a real physical weight pressing heavily against your chest. You feel an overwhelming, almost violent urge to interrupt. So you scan the variables, spot the pattern, and drop a step-by-step solution. You genuinely believe you are performing a profound act of empathy. But the truth is, you just want the chaos to stop. You aren't fixing their life, you're terminating your own physiological distress. That brilliant advice is your emergency escape route. You just solved your physiological problem. But in doing so, you just created a psychological distress for them. Here is exactly what happens to the other side of that conversation and why this act of kindness leads to destruction of human connections. When a person vents, their cognitive engine is overheating. They just need someone to stand beside them while they blow off steam and let the system cool down. They aren't asking for repair crew. Yet instead of staying with them until smoke clears, you hand them a wrench and expect them to start fixing the machine while it's still burning hot. In psychology, this behavior is known as the Righting Reflex. It is an automatic, hardwired instinct to correct an observed mistake. You see someone steering their life off course, and your brain instantly screams to grab the wheel. But human distress violently rejects forced correction. People in pain don't want to be steered. Psychological research on reactance theory proves that whenever humans feel a threat to their personal freedom, they experience an overwhelming involuntary drive to rebel. When a person is emotionally vulnerable, they become hypersensitive to power dynamics. When you immediately dictate a solution to their problem, you broadcast a specific message. You subconsciously tell them as they are incompetent and signal that they cannot survive their own mind without your brilliant intervention. That is what completely steals their agency. This sequence triggers emotional invalidation. It's basically a way of treating someone's internal experience as incorrect or defective. And by giving them some kind of solution for their problem, you are treating their psychological pain as a simple logistical error, stripping them of their reality. Popular culture constantly insists that logic is ultimate cure for emotion. The myth says, fix the root cause and the bad feeling will vanish. But this represents a massive misinterpretation of human biology. If you only remember one thing from this breakdown, let it be next biological fact. During periods of high emotional stress, the logical analytical center of brain actually shuts down. The neurological hardware required to process, understand, and execute your brilliant advice is literally offline. You are transmitting a high-definition 4K signal to television that has been completely unplugged from the socket. And while the signal is lost, the hardware-level interaction is even worse. Our nervous system has a subconscious radar for detecting threats in another person's body language, tone, and pacing. When you drop into fixer mode, your physiology shifts. You lose the vocal melody and muscle relaxation that signal safety. Your posture stiffens and your gaze becomes piercing, a state that neurobiology identifies as shift from social engagement to threat detection. The distressed person's nervous system scans your rigid analytical presence and instantly flags it as predatory threat. You need to realize that the rules of this environment are different. Efficiency is not metric of success here. Connection is. If your goal is to build the connection, you must be willing to tolerate the severe, messy inefficiency of someone else's emotional state. If your logic is offline and your physical presence is flagged as a threat, what highly analytical brain supposed to do? You deploy a new system, the grounding wire protocol. Your analytical brain has a massive advantage in almost every metric of human progress. You use it to prevent catastrophic disasters or optimize reality itself, but you must reprogram your response code for emotional distress. You must completely redefine what empathy actually looks like. You don't have to view the act of just listening as a passive submission. You can reframe the entire engagement. When you sit quietly with someone in pain, you operate as the psychological grounding wire for their electrical storm. By absorbing the ambient charge in the room, you allow their overloaded system to stabilize and reset on its own terms. In order to do that, you have to hack your own brain needs for closure. Before you speak a single word, deploy a diagnostic tool. Don't assume, just stay and listen. You can also ask them directly, I'm listening. Do you want my perspective or do you just need me to sit with you in it? If they choose to vent, they explicitly remove the heavy burden of problem solving from your shoulders. Your brain gains biological permission to stand down. You can now observe the emotional data without the crushing physiological obligation to manipulate it or fix it. You don't need to turn off your logic. You can simply realize that human connection remains one of the environments where the absolute fastest route to solution does not always guarantee success. This is Clinical Breakdown. Please tell me in comments down below, what's the most logical advice you've ever given that ended up backfiring?